episode 1 of Monday Morning Quarterback. I'm your host, Kellen. Let's get started right now. Starting off, big news coming in. Texas A&M fire head coach Jim Fisher on an unexpected release after their big 55-14 win over Mississippi State. Which is very, if you don't know football, you should know that's a big win, no matter what. Which is why it's way more unexpected that Texas A&M fire Jim Fisher right now. I know they haven't been having the best year as of late, but they should definitely have not fired him, especially after that big of a win on an in-conference opponent. But big news in the college football world. Also big news, Harbaugh's suspension proves not too important to the Michigan Wolverines as they stroll through Penn State 29-15. And Penn State's definitely not an easy team. I mean, Ohio State played them, almost lost. That was Penn State's only loss before now. So, big games. But the Harbaugh suspension, I think, might ruin his career at Michigan. Not because, obviously, big scandal, all that. But if Michigan proves they can win without Harbaugh, it kind of like loosens the grip Harbaugh has on his current role with the Michigan Wolverines, and I think will end up leading to him being eventually fired in like 2 or 3 years. I think it's ruining his job at Michigan, and possibly could end up ruining his football coaching career. You might get run out of college football for all I know, and get sent down to a Group of 5 school instead of a Power 5 school, which I doubt, as I believe, like, if he gets fired at Michigan, he's either 1, going to the NFL, or 2, going to like a Big 12 school like Cincinnati or UCF, who definitely could use a good, experienced head coach who has led great teams. Keep them on the right track. But besides that, it wouldn't make sense for him to go there. I don't think so. I think he'll end up going to the NFL. But you never know. Anyway, to college football recap. On Thursday, Louisville beat Virginia, keeping them in top 25 and in the bowl games, pretty much guaranteed. So great year for Louisville. They're probably going to be great moving forward for the next couple of years at least. But way to go, Louisville. Arizona beat Colorado. Another loss for Colorado is not what you want to be seeing as a fan of Colorado U, especially with Primetime as head coach, Coach Prime. But I think everyone was thinking first 3 games of the year, they go 3-0, beat like TCU, who made college football playoffs last year, and rivals Colorado State pretty early on, would end up being good, but it all went straight downhill after getting blown out by Oregon. So I think this year, great year for Colorado, which you wouldn't think so. Like, oh, they're 5 like they're mediocre at best, but they last year won like 1 or 2 games, not even, and were just absolutely horrible. So Deion Sanders comes in, pretty much turns the program around in a matter of 1 year. So great changes for Colorado, and next 2 years, in like 2 years, they will be the team we expected them to be this year. Don't sleep on Colorado. They can turn it around in like 2 years and they're a powerful school again. Other scores: Bama beat Kentucky, moving up the rank. Texas Tech beat Kansas 16-13. Might bump Kansas out of the top 25, but I doubt it. Kansas, just great turnaround the past couple of years, and has shown they are a good team. Now to a big blowout. Kansas State blows out Baylor like it's a homecoming game. They are playing a horrible team. Like, Baylor's just bad. They're a bad team. Just like, what's wrong with the Baylor Bears? They can be a great team, but they are not showing they are a great team, especially with them getting beat up like they're FCS team and not an FBS team. So they played pretty much like Long Island did against them. Which, if you know, Long Island's FCS team, so that's how bad Baylor got beat. I think shows Kansas State, great team. Baylor, just like what's happening with Baylor. Like, the only good team now, I'm pretty sure, that's in the Big 12 in the Texas-Oklahoma area is, you could say, Oklahoma State, but they themselves got blown out by UCF 45-3, so I doubt that. Like, the only good team left since Texas and Oklahoma are leaving for the SEC, selling out, is Texas Tech, and they're as mediocre as it can get. So just, what's wrong with Baylor and Oklahoma State? What happened against UCF that they get blown out that bad by a team who recently joined a Power 5 school? They were Group of 5 like 2 years ago. Now they blow out Oklahoma State, who is ranked. They are a ranked team. They're coming off a big win against Oklahoma, and they then get blown out by UCF. That's embarrassing, and like literally as embarrassing as it gets. You can't be losing that bad to a team that barely is even in a Power 5 school, and you only get a field goal. Only one field goal was made for Oklahoma State. They lost 45-3 to UCF. UCF. I'm not joking. Anyway, in closer games, Florida State beat Miami in a very close game, which, in my opinion, another close game to an unranked team, proves Florida State fraud alert. They are just not as good as everyone thinks they are. Yes, they're undefeated, but you realize they almost lost to Clemson. BC, Boston College, almost beat them. Miami almost beat them. That's 3 unranked teams that almost beat them. So, if I'm Florida State, I'm surprised they didn't lose. I'm surprised Florida State did not lose yet. They are a fraud team. They are not good. Florida State's overrated this year. Without a doubt. And if they make it to college football playoffs as like a 4 seed, maybe a 3 seed, if for some reason they're ranked that high, which they shouldn't be. They shouldn't even be top 4. Washington should be in their place. They are going to get blown out by either Michigan, Ohio State, or Georgia. One of those 3 will blow them out if they play them in the playoffs. So, I don't think Florida State's going anywhere big besides maybe making it in as a 4 seed if they're lucky. So, Washington beat Utah, proving Washington is a good team this year. They are a good team. Michael Penix just been proving that he is definitely a good quarterback compared to other quarterbacks in the NCAA college football. So keep your eye on Washington going forward. Missouri blowing out Tennessee, another blowout. They just, what was wrong with Tennessee this game? They're only ranked one above Missouri, and they get blown out. Showing they played an unranked team, they played Boise State or something. Just absolutely horrible against Missouri, who's having a great year this year. But a few years ago, they were not good. They were not good at all. Iowa blowing out Rutgers, shutting them out. Not what I'd want to be seeing as a Rutgers fan, but they've been doing pretty solid. I think in a year or two, they might be a team to keep your eye on. So keep your eye on Rutgers. Oregon State blow out Stanford, what Colorado should have done a couple weeks ago. But Oregon State also underrated, extremely underrated. They are a good team. Go Beavers, I guess. I don't root for Oregon State. When Georgia blow out Ole Miss, prove they should be ranked number 1, not Ohio State. But all I see, because of them blowing out Ole Miss, a ranked team, proves that Georgia hasn't missed a step. They are still on full drive, ready to win a 3rd championship in a row, which is very unlikely, especially with the new playoff format, which is still pretty young compared to college football, the sport. So keep your eye on Georgia like everyone else has. Oklahoma blows out West Virginia. I mean, what do you expect? West Virginia, not that good at college football. The only good player that I can think of right now that came out of West Virginia is barely even good. Only good recently, Geno Smith. Definitely a great draft pick by the Jets. We totally made a good pick, skipping over Travis Kelce to pick Geno Smith. Very good pick. Way to go, Jets front office. Ohio State blow out Michigan State. Ohio State's a great team. Me personally, I don't think they should be ranked number 1, but I think Georgia should be ranked 1. But what happened to Michigan State? They were a team in the hunt for a spot in the college football playoffs 4 years ago, and everything went straight downhill from there. No signs of life from the other Michigan school now. It was ooh, who's the best Michigan school? It tends to be Michigan, but Michigan State put up a fight. Now Michigan State's without a doubt the other Michigan school. They are not playing well at all. UNC edging out Duke in overtime. Close one. I'm pretty sure all North Carolina fans were worried about their Tar Heels against the Duke Blue Devils, but they still won. So be happy, UNC. Still in top 25. Now on to Clemson versus Georgia Tech. Big win by Clemson, but people are saying it might be the end of Clemson dominance in college football. I personally don't think so. I think Clemson is having a couple of years where they're just not playing to their best. A lot of schools have that. Oklahoma sometimes has that. Texas have had that. Michigan State's having that. I think it's just a brief 4-year period where maybe 5, 6, only half a decade at most, where they just play not what people are expecting at all. Clemson was ranked number 9 or something to start the year, and now they just are showing they're not playing to their best football, but against Georgia Tech is what people expected Clemson to play like. blowing out mediocre teams and fighting against good teams. They beat Notre Dame. They've beaten a couple good teams, but they just haven't been beating teams like they were in the Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson era. So keep an eye on Clemson. In a few years, they'll be back to what they were only like a couple years ago. And into Division III, like anyone cares unless you went to one of these schools. But Cortland won Cortica, so way to go, Cortland. Go, Cortland. Anyway, recapping what happened in the NHL last night. Edmonton beat the Seattle Kraken. Montreal upset the Boston Bruins. The Blues crushed the Colorado Avalanche. Like 8-2, I'm pretty sure. And Detroit edging out the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, to the Islanders, they lost to the Washington Capitals 4-1, which I'm not sure what happened to the Islanders. Like, last year they made the playoffs, lost in 5 games. They are into their old selves where they were making the Eastern Conference Finals and battling every game against the Lightning. And I think it goes down to the head coach. They haven't been their best. They had one bad year with Barry Trotz, and then they parted ways. Barry Trotz is now general manager of the Predators in Nashville, returning to where he used to coach. But I think it comes down to head coach, because Islanders have had the same, mostly an identical team from their glory days, like a few years ago. Actually, not even a few years ago. It was like 2 years ago, maybe 3. So I think it comes down to head coach. I don't like the new head coach. Just not the best at all. My opinion, if he doesn't have a good year this year, doesn't take him to the second round, we should fire him. So, the Islanders have not been well to start the year at all, so. Anyway, to the MLB Hall of Fame ballot, here are some people I think are notable enough to put on the list I have right here. Todd Helton, he's getting in this year. He's getting in. He just missed it by the skin of his teeth last year. Easily getting in. Billy Wagner, he's questionable. He might get in. I think it depends on, one, if the voters like any other candidates, because if they just see Billy Wagner, they'll be like, all right, I'll maybe look around for other candidates, and if they can't find any, they're like, might as well vote for Billy Wagner. So, Billy Wagner might sneak in a year. I wouldn't think this year, but maybe a year or 2. Andrew Jones should get in. I don't think he's getting in this year. Gary Sheffield also should be in, not getting in this year. Kicking him off the ballot, which I think is undeserving. Carlos Beltran, he's not going to get in this year, but he'll definitely put up 50, 60%. So watch Carlos Beltran get in a couple years. But if they're holding him back because of the Astro scandal, trash can gate, I don't think those people should have votes, because he was a wash then. He wasn't going to do anything. Even with, he probably didn't even do anything with the trash cans. So he, I think, should get in sooner than later. A-Rod should not get in. I don't think he's going to get in. The most he'll get to is 66% or something, but the voters won't let him in. Too scandalous, he cheated, obviously, multiple times. A-Rod's not getting in. Manny Ramirez, not getting in. I mean, that's self-explanatory. Omar Vizquel, I don't think he's getting in this year. Andy Pettitte, not getting in this year, I think. Bobby Abreu, I don't think he's going to get in. I think it's his 5th year on the ballot, and he's only putting up 15%. For all I know, he might fall off the ballot, but Jimmy Rollins, he's staying on the ballot at least another year. I only pretty much know who he is because I use this card in MLB The Show, Diamond Dynasties, but I don't think he's getting in this year. Mark Burley, he's not getting in ever. I wish he did. It's a fast pitcher. Doesn't throw fast, but finishes innings fast. I only know about him from a YouTube video, and that's pretty much all I know about Mark Burley, so... Adrian Beltre, he should get in. He definitely has the first ballot potential, so if Adrian Beltre doesn't get in, he's definitely getting in next year, so watch Adrian Beltre, if he doesn't get in, get like 68, 71%, which if you get that, you're most likely getting in next year. Joe Mauer, I'm not sure if he'll end up being first ballot, but he'll get in at most 5 years from now. So Joe Mauer probably will get in. Chase Utley, don't like him. Ruined Ruben Tejada. I think that's what his name was. Well, I completely ruined him. Also, Met fans hate him. But he's gonna get in sooner than later. So keep your eye out for Chase Utley. David Wright, I wish he'd get in. All the Mets fans think he would, but he'd definitely be first ballot, maybe like third ballot. If injuries didn't hold him back, like he had a bunch of injuries in his career, forcing him to retire relatively early. So if he didn't get hurt, for all I know, he could have probably retired like a year or two ago if he didn't get hurt. For all I know, he could still be playing if he didn't get hurt, but got beat up by injuries and just wasn't the same after that. Bartolo Colon, Big Sexy, not all baseball fans want him to get in, but I don't think he's getting in. I really want him to get in. The baseball world would be so happy if he got in, but the BBWAA is just bad. They don't listen to the baseball world at all. Jose Reyes, I don't think he's getting in. He won that batting title once with the Mets, but after he left the Mets, he wasn't the same. He did end up coming back, but for all I know, I think Jose Reyes will be off the ballot in like a few years from now. I don't think he'll get the votes needed. Matt Holliday, don't know too much about him. He might get in. Jose Bautista, I feel like he's going to be snuffed from the ballot. He's had a lot of good years, but I don't think he's getting any. The voters just don't listen to the fans. And James Shields, they only put him on this list because all baseball fans know what James Shields let happen. If not, I'll play that clip right here, right after I finish talking. But James Shields, I don't think he's getting in. He's going to be kicked off the ballot immediately. He was also traded for Fernando Tatis, so big win by the Padres with that trade. All right, to the next segment, I guess. This is part 2 of me recording. I'm recording right before school. So this is recap of yesterday in the NFL. Chicago versus Carolina, even though they didn't play yesterday, Chicago won expectingly. Carolina, they should have been so much better this year. They could have been at 500, like 4-5, 5-4, and they'd be a good team. But they have Adam Thielen, Bryce Young, and besides that, they're dead. And Bryce Young's not even that good this year yet. Adam Thielen is going off into fantasy this year, so congrats to anyone that has Adam Thielen. The Colts beat the Pats 10-6 in Germany. The Patriots are horrible this year, which makes me happy. But they just, like, Bill Belichick, he's old. He needs to retire. Just hang up the coaching clipboard or whatever. The Niners blew out the Jaguars 34-3. And the Texans upset the Bengals 30-27 off a game-winning field goal. C.J. Stroud did well. So congrats to any Texan fans. Green Bay losing to Pittsburgh. An upset. But it could also not be because both teams are solid. The Packers don't really have a quarterback. Same thing with the Steelers, I guess. But anyway, Buccaneers beat the Titans expectantly. Titans are garbage this year. Cleveland upsetting Baltimore, a late second comeback, which is annoying for me as I have the Ravens defense in fantasy. Vikings beat the Saints. Josh Dobbs ran in for a game-winning touchdown. I'm not a Vikings fan. Why did I say go Vikings? Atlanta losing to Arizona, which is what I picked, because Arizona, they are a bad team, but they aren't like the bad teams of bad teams. They aren't the worst of bad teams, so they can beat Atlanta. The Lions edging out the Chargers 41-38, which means that the Lions, you gotta keep your eye on them. You could say they're like one of, if not one of the, like the best team in the league. You'd be called a crazy person, but in my opinion, you're not. Dallas blowing out the Giants expectantly. The Giants are horrible this year. Like, what is wrong with the New York Giants? They have, like, identical, all of the same players from last year, and they are garbage, and it makes me so happy. 49-17, they got outscored by the Cowboys. 89-17 in 2 games. That's embarrassing. And they scored all 17 points one game. The Giants are a trash team this year. The fans are still delusional after making the playoffs. The Giants are a bad team this year. Seattle beat Washington. What a surprise. It was closer than I would have expected because Washington is bad. But Seattle still won. And the Jets. Jets lose 12-16 because Zach Wilson doesn't know how to play quarterback. He does not know how to play quarterback at all. He is a bad quarterback. Can't wait for Rodgers to get back because Zach Wilson is horrible. Yeah, like Zach Wilson, what's wrong? What is wrong, Zach Wilson? He just can't. I mean, we should have probably won if the refs didn't screw us up that one time. That one holding, that would have been a touchdown, and Zach Wilson stepping out of bounds. That was also a touchdown, but both of them got called back. We just can't. What is wrong? What is wrong with the New York Jets right now? This was supposed to be our year to, we should be at like 6-2 right now. But maybe 6-3, maybe 5-4. That's okay, but we're still above 500. Now we're below 500. Below 500. And it sucks. It sucks to be a Jet fan. And I've known that pretty much the entire time I've been a Jet fan. It sucks to be a Jet fan. We just can't win. We can't win when it matters most. We can't beat the Raiders. The Raiders don't even have a head coach. And we can't beat the Raiders. I need to get off of that topic. Anyway, Monday Night Football tonight. Crappy game. Broncos-Bills, but everyone thought the Broncos would be good. They are not. They are a trash team. Sean Payton, horrible coach with the Broncos. I think no one can actually coach with the Broncos. Like, no one can coach well with the Broncos. Not sure why, but no one can coach well with the Broncos. Alright, that'll be it for episode 1 of Monday Morning Quarterback. Tune in next Monday for maybe episode 2 if I feel like it.